What if everything we know about time is wrong? We live by clocks and calendars, and we think of time as a straight line, from birth to death, from past to future. But again and again, stories emerge from across the ages of lost time, of visions of the future, of people slipping into other centuries, of moments repeating in impossible ways. And in nearly every mystical tradition, time isn't what we think it is. Tonight, we cross into the veil of time.
Imagine the clock forgetting its fate, hands drift like ghosts in a nameless place. Echoes of futures hum through the air, moments unspoken, suspended there.
Time is the thing we all think we understand, right up until we try to live inside it. We measure it with clocks and calendars, but the minute life gets real, birth, loss, awe, terror, time stops obeying the tools we built for it. So tonight, let's try something bolder than, what time is it? Let's ask, which time are we in? And how do we reconcile the many versions that show up at once?
From one angle, time is a line, seconds marching, schedules tightening, deadlines breathing down our necks. Linear time gives us trains that run, bills that get paid, and a way to meet in the same room. It's useful, it's necessary, but it's not the whole story. From another angle, time lives in the body. The body keeps a different clock, one that speeds up when we're afraid and slows down when we're in love. Grief can suspend it altogether. Trauma can loop it like a scratched record. Joy can stretch a minute into a meadow. Jet lag is real, but so is grief lag. When everyone else has moved on and your bones are still in last year.
Then there's sacred time, the kind that shows up at thresholds, like birthbeds and deathbeds, vigils and vows. Rooms go quiet, the air grows thick, and something like a pause opens between the beats. Sacred time doesn't care about your calendar. It cares about presence. This is the time of prayer, of ceremony, of asking and listening. It's also the time of the veil, thin places where before and after feel braided together. Mythic time is older still. It curls back on itself, like a serpent eating its tail. Cultures have mapped this in cycles: planting and harvest, the turning of the year, great counts, and long calendars that say, you've been here before, and you'll be here again. In other stories, three sisters, Norns sit at the roots of the world, weaving what was, what is, and what may be into one fabric. Past, present, future, less like boxes and more like threads in the same loom.
Dreamtime lives under all of that. It doesn't care for straight lines. You can be 5 and 60 in the same night. You can watch yourself dreaming while you're still inside the dream, as if the observer and the actor shake hands through the glass. In dream time, messages arrive sideways. They don't announce themselves with dates. They repeat until we notice. Physics has its angle too. Without getting lost in chalkboards, the faster or deeper you go, the stranger the clock behaves. Motion and gravity bend duration, which is a fancy way of saying that our experience has always been right. Time is not one thing. It's relative to speed, to place, and to perspective.
Folklore offers another lens, the time slip. You step into a lane of rain light and the street is suddenly older. You blink and the hill wears another century's coat. These are usually quiet, ordinary thresholds. A stairwell, a path between hedges, a doorway you've walked through 1,000 times. The mundane is a favorite portal. And then there's angel time. Contact doesn't always arrive when we ask. It arrives how we're ready. Sparks and colors, numbers, songs repeating at precisely the moment the message will land. It feels like coincidence until it doesn't. Angel time is orchestral, motifs returning, themes developing across years. A melody you recognize even if you can't say where you first heard it. So, how do we reconcile all these attempts at time? The linear, the bodily, the sacred, the mythic, the dreamt, the strange, and the angelic. We stop forcing one map to cover the whole. We let clock time run the logistics, but we let body time set the pace of healing. We honor sacred time at thresholds and refuse to rush it. And then we listen for mythic time in seasons and symbols, what's repeating, and why now? We keep a place at the table for dream time, where messages speak in image and echo. We stay humble before physics. Time is elastic, and our instruments are still catching up. We leave a chair open for the visitor in colors and sparks, because meaning often arrives on a delay. We recognize it only after it's looped back. From multiple angles, time is less a ruler and more a room with many doors, some open to schedules, some to seasons, some to mystery. Reconciling time isn't about choosing the right door. It's about learning which one to use, when, and with whom. Let's keep testing from every side. From the clock on the wall, the pulse on the wrist, the ritual at the threshold, the story that repeats, the slip that startles, science that bends, and the color that arrives on cue. If we do it well, we won't solve time. We'll learn to keep time with it. And in that rhythm, the veil thins just enough for meaning to step through.
In the north between the roots of Yggdrasil, the Norse told of the Norns, 3 weavers of fate who sit at the well of Urd. To them, time is a tapestry, past, present, and future, spun into a single weave. Each life a thread, each moment tied to what was and what will be. Even the gods are bound by their loom. Time here is a line, a destiny pulled tight. Half a world away, the Maya saw something different. Time was not a thread, but a wheel. Their long count calendar marked vast cycles, ages that turned and renewed, like the heartbeat of the cosmos. Endings were never final, only gateways into beginnings. What has been will return again, not in repetition, but in rhythm. Time here is a spiral, each cycle echoing the last, yet moving ever forward.
2 visions, one of fate stretched taut across eternity, the other of cycles returning in endless dance. And yet, there are stories that suggest time is neither thread nor wheel, but something more elusive. In the English countryside, whispers tell of travelers who slip from one moment into another, as though the veil of time itself thins. A pair of soldiers in Versailles once claimed they wandered into the 18th century, finding themselves among powdered wigs and silk gowns, before stumbling back into their own era. Others speak of roads walked for decades, where a step too far may carry you into a century long past. These time slips, fleeting, disorienting, impossible to explain, remind us that time is not always fixed, nor always predictable. It is both thread and spiral, but also mist. A veil that sometimes parts without warning, showing us that past and future are never as far away as we believe. Perhaps that is the truth, hidden in all these stories. Whether woven, turning, or slipping, time is alive. And the more we look at it, the more it refuses to stay still.
For most of human history, time wasn't a line. It was a circle. The ancient Greeks spoke of aeon, time as an eternal, cyclical force, far beyond human reckoning. The Norse believed in the world tree, Yggdrasil, where past, present, and future are woven together by the Norns, 3 mysterious women who spin the fate of every being. In indigenous traditions worldwide, time flows in cycles. The Mayan long count calendar tracks great ages of creation and destruction. And among many Native American nations, time is measured by seasons, animal migrations, and sacred ceremonies, woven into a never-ending circle.
Prophecy, often dismissed in the modern world, was once understood as remembering forward. Remembering forward, a glimpse into the next turn of the spiral, what we call the future. What we call the future may simply be the return of something we've already known.
Strange stories of time slips have existed for centuries. People vanishing for minutes or years and returning disoriented, untouched by time. In English folklore, there are tales of travelers wandering misty roads or fairy rings, only to awaken decades later, unchanged. In modern UFO encounters, many experiencers report missing time. Hours vanish in moments. Watches stop. Memories fragment. Sometimes it even begins in the dream state. And sometimes during full wakefulness. And the beings involved, often described as angels, fae, or extraterrestrials, depending on culture and era.
So we have beings and entities that are living throughout all of these different dimensions. So when we start talking about interdimensional beings or angels or some of these other beings, yeah, they are living within some of these dimensions or even beyond that, beyond the known universe. And I would say for, something like, an angel coming into this dimension, sure, they might have a third dimensional body that they've manifested. But as far as their consciousness, I would argue that it probably resides or lives on another dimension, and they have moved that interdimensionally from wherever they originated from to here.
These beings seem to live outside time. They step in and out, unbound by our hours and calendars. But why do they alter our experience of time? Is it technology or something deeper, something spiritual? Time slips. We're going to call them time slips. They're moments when the ordinary world cracks just enough for something unexpected to step through. And they're never subtle. I've seen them, and I've experienced them, and I've collected stories from others that make you wonder how solid the present really is.
Was investigating a thin veil spot near a ruined castle. Not unusual. They were photographing the grounds when suddenly a parade of figures appeared. Knights in armor, women in long skirts, merchants with baskets, moving silently, performing daily tasks of another era. It lasted maybe 30 seconds, and they were gone, like a layer of mist lifted. The cameras captured nothing, yet the memory of the scene burned in their minds. Later historians confirmed for them that the exact arrangement of roads and paths they'd been standing on had existed in the 1400s. It was as if history had folded in on itself just long enough for them to witness it.
Famous poet Goethe, German poet Goethe. Late 1700s, early 1800s was really kind of the height of his fame. And he recounts in his book, Poetry and Truth, of a bizarre incident that he had one day. He was walking toward the town of Dussenheim, and he was having an affair with a young woman there. And while he's walking down the road, he's lost in his thoughts about this young woman. And all of a sudden he notices, walking on the other side of this room, this interesting man in a gold-trimmed gray suit. So he turns to get a better look at the guy, and poof, he disappears. It's like, whoa, what's that? Why did that happen? Where'd that guy go? Of course, he can't do anything about it. The guy completely disappeared, but he notes it and continues on down the road. Well, years later, he's walking down that same road again, but in the opposite direction. And he's coming up on that spot where that incident had occurred. And he begins to recall the incident. And all of a sudden he looks down. He's like, oh my gosh, I was the man in the gold trimmed gray suit, because I'm actually wearing the suit right now. So he had actually seen himself at two different moments in time. And so again, it gets attributed to a doppelganger case, but it wasn't an evil twin or anything like that. It was just him at two different moments. And so then we have to ask, okay, what was the catalyst for this? What happened that he was able to see himself at another moment in time? I think it goes back to the very beginning of the story where he says he was lost in his thoughts. That's a type of meditative state. We do this all the time. We're driving down the road and we zone out and we miss our turn or we miss our exit. I go, turn around, go back. It's a type of meditative state, not a full meditative state. You don't want to have full meditative state while you're driving and crash the car. But it is a type of one. We do the same thing, washing the dishes, mowing the lawn. That happens. And so I believe when he was in that meditative state, he was able to tune into his own energy there, his own frequency there at another moment in time, got a glimpse of it. And once he diverted his attention to it fully, it broke the meditative state and he lost the image.
Time slips aren't tricks of the mind. They're invitations to reconsider the linearity we take for granted. They remind us that time isn't a single line. It's a layered tapestry, a room with doors, and sometimes those doors open when we least expect it. In many traditions, reality isn't fixed. The ancient mystics taught that creation is a dream, one that can be dreamed differently. And when enough people remember something that wasn't, perhaps they're remembering something that we lost.
Prophetic dreams appear in nearly every sacred text. The Dead Sea Scrolls speak of visions given to prophets, warnings of coming destruction. In the Bible, Daniel interprets the dreams of kings, foretelling future empires. In Native American traditions, seers receive dreams of floods, wars, or migrations long before they occur. I think of my husband on this in that he had a dream of two planes flying into a skyscraper shortly before 9/11.
Carl Jung himself had prophetic dreams. He dreamed of rivers of blood flooding Europe just before the outbreak of World War I. He believed dreams could break free from time, offering glimpses of events yet to unfold. Jung called it synchronicity, meaningful coincidence that defies logic. Perhaps the mind itself isn't bound by time.
Certain beings are said to exist outside of time entirely. In the Book of Enoch, angels move between worlds, unbound by earthly time. Demons in ancient lore are often described as timeless tricksters, able to slip into any moment, tempting or tormenting. The Fae too live beyond time. Stories tell of mortals spending a single night in their realm, only to return to find centuries passed. Even modern alien contact reports describe beings who show impossible knowledge of past or future events, sometimes warning of coming disasters.
Perhaps these beings don't travel through time. Perhaps they simply see it differently. If time isn't linear, but layered, like pages in a book, they may simply be reading ahead, while we struggle to turn the next page. Time isn't what we think it is. It bends, it folds, and it loops. Sometimes it seems to trap us, and sometimes it sets us free. The veil of time asks us to loosen our grip on the clock, to listen for the moments where time slips and something else enters. A memory from the future, a visitor from the past, a dream that seems to ripple outward across decades. Perhaps we've been walking in circles all along. In the next episode, we'll explore the veil of hidden worlds and those who dwell alongside us, unseen. So until then, watch carefully. Time is watching you.
The hourglass turns, yet the sand stands still. Time bows softly to human will. If love can bend the cosmic rhyme, then who are we outside of time? Step through the veil where forever begins. All that we lose returns within the veil. Dissolves, no reason, no rhyme. Only the soul and the pulse of time.
What if everything we know about time is wrong?
They were not gone. You are not lost. The veil is thin, not made to cross, but drifted through on winds unknown to call us home, to call us home.